A few days after the past events, the abominable creature known as Creeper, which chased the Jenner siblings Trish and Derry, is on the 22nd day of its feeding ritual. Farmer Jack Taggart is trying to get his post-hole digger to work, but he can't. He blames his younger son, Billy, but he denies any wrongdoing. Then he asks his eldest son, Jack Jr., if he has been messing with it. Having been busy fixing his car, Jackie is upset because his brother won't rat him out. While making sure the scarecrows are well secured to their posts, he sees some crows approaching one not far from him, for what they're worth. Suddenly, Billy sees the scarecrow turn its head to look at him. Curious, he approaches, examining the scarecrow as he does so. His dog, Mac, starts barking frantically at this scarecrow. Billy examines the scarecrow and is frightened to see clawed feet at the end. The fingers move slightly, causing Billy to start running in fear. As soon as he does, the scarecrow jumps off its post. It's the Creeper. Billy screams, asking his brother for help, while the Creeper jumps on Billy several times to smell his fear, before lunging at him to keep him quiet. Both Jacks, upon hearing Billy's screams, run into the cornfield with a shotgun. They see Billy being carried by a figure dressed in black, who looks behind him to see how close they are. On the brink of despair, the Creeper simply leaps into the air with Billy and flies away. Both Jacks are stunned and horrified as they watch the Creeper fade into the distance with Billy's screams. A bus full of the Bannon Bantam basketball players, their coaches, and cheerleaders is returning home after the championship game. The players are singing their school song in celebration of winning the championship. The bus gets a flat tire on East 9 Road in Kissel County. The adults investigate and discover an improvised shuriken in the tire, which makes them wonder how it could have punctured it, as the rubber is very thick. When the bus driver, Betty Bowman, tried to remove it, she cut herself and remarked on how sharp it was. They were then surprised to discover that the shuriken had a tooth in it. Assistant Coach Barnes then realizes that this shuriken seems to be made of some kind of bone, to which Coach Charlie Hanna dismisses and tells him to throw it away before he needs a tetanus shot. Minxie is asleep and begins to dream. She sees Derry Jenner and Billy Taggart, who are frantically pointing towards the cornfield. She looks out with confusion, as she cannot hear them. She notices Derry's belly button, which has a tattoo of a rose, and Billy with a bloody wound on his head. They keep pointing towards the cornfield, looking very horrified. Minxie then looks towards the cornfield and sees a dark figure running through the cornfield, throwing something towards the bus. At that moment, the other tire explodes and the bus comes to a sudden stop. Everyone gets out of the vehicle to ask for help, but the creature captures the driver Betty Bowman and the trainers Charlie Hanna and Dwayne Barnes. Upon returning, the monster chooses several young people as prey, including Scott Braddock, Dante Belasco, Jake Spencer, Andy Bucky Buck, and DeAndre Double D Davis. Minxie faints, worrying everyone as her eyes were rolling back. She falls into another dream that takes her to the Taggart farm. She sees Billy with Mac running behind her backward. Then she looks ahead at the scarecrow in the cornfield. Derry appears behind her while she is heard speaking quickly. Everything he says about it is absorbed by Minxie, as many of the Creeper's victims are speaking to her through Derry. Then he gives the most important warning: every 23rd spring, for 23 days, he has the right to eat. When Minxie asks what, Derry appears without his eyes, saying "Eat us," showing what the creeper took and left of Derry. The creeper spreads its wings, leaving her in shock and awake, and she informs the rest of the group. After listening to several police reports, the Taggarts set out to hunt the creeper and soon make radio contact with the school bus. Back on the bus, everyone is cheering as they are being rescued. However, the celebration is interrupted when, unseen by them, the creeper jumps from the front of the bus and crashes through the roof, grabbing Bucky's head. However, Rhonda uses a spear to pierce the monster's shoulder, injuring it. In a second attempt, she pierces it with the spear through its left eye, saving Bucky, forcing the creeper to let go and throw the spear through the ceiling. The creeper tries to remove the spear from either end, but it tears off, along with the left side of its upper head. Dee sees this through the hole the creeper made and watches as it flies into the sky. However, they then hear a rumble approaching. The creeper falls and crashes into the roof of the bus, breaking the windows. They discover that the creeper is unconscious, not knowing if it is dead. One of the monster's wings ends up inside the bus, and everyone is forced to pass underneath it. When it's Dante's turn, the wing grabs him and then he is decapitated. The creeper rips off its own head and replaces it with Dante's. The students decide to leave the bus to find help, but the creature returns and chases them into a field, where it kills Jake and takes Scott. The creeper heads down, forcing the teenagers to run towards the field. Scotty tries to save himself by telling the teenagers to scatter, but they don't listen to him. The creeper throws a shuriken, which embeds itself in the back of Jake's head, killing him. The creeper approaches Dee, but Dee stumbles as the creeper gets closer, enraging the beast for having missed. Scotty separates from the group, resting against a tree. However, the creeper stabs him in the arm. The creeper then flies towards the group of teenagers, not knowing how many he has kidnapped, killed, or eaten. Izzy and Rhonda try to save Scotty, but the knife is welded and injures Scotty. Dee sees this with horror and comes to help. Izzy and Rhonda try to keep Scotty still while Dee attempts to take the knife from him. Scotty, seeing the creeper flying and approaching, begins to panic, apologizes to Dee, and begs her to save him. They freed him, however, it was too late as the creeper caught him and flew into the sky. Rhonda is left screaming in anguish while Izzy and Dee try to console her. Meanwhile, the Taggarts meet Minxie, who tells them that she came from the bus and managed to escape the creeper's pursuit. Jack Sr. demands to be taken to the bus. Minxie initially tells him it doesn't matter because there's no one on the bus and they can't stop him. Jack Sr. tells Minxie to stay in the car with Jackie until the fight with the creeper is over. However, Minxie bursts out saying it will never end because the creeper cannot be killed by conventional means and that it will return every 23 springs. Without caring, Jack Sr. demands to be taken to the bus so he can attack it and avenge his son. Minxie gets into the truck cabin with Jack Jr. and the dog. Jack Sr. ready to face the creeper. On the bus, two members of the I Won't Be Eaten party, Johnny and another student he let back in, Chelsea Farmer, are still hiding just as Bucky returns. Bucky explains that he ran more than 10 miles through the valley, explaining that there is no farm. They beg him to leave since the creeper isn't interested in them, keeping its distance. At that moment, the bus screeches, signaling that the creeper has returned. He tries to grab Bucky again, while Johnny and Chelsea back away, not attempting to save him. However, Bucky is saved when the Taggarts arrive and turn on their car lights towards the creeper, forcing it to release Bucky. The creeper confronts them and spreads its wings as a show of power, initiating a visual standoff between it and Jack Sr. Both wait for the other to make the first move, without taking their eyes off each other. Jack Sr. shoots the harpoon through the creeper, sending it off-center towards the sky. The creeper begins to pull the truck, since the harpoon is connected to the machine by a rope, flying from side to side in an attempt to dislodge it. Jack Sr. tries to pick it up, initially without success, but soon realizes that he is managing to get the rope back. However, this is because the creeper took out the harpoon and threw it back at him. Minxie gets out of the truck and Jack Jr. can't get out because his door is blocked by the bus and he tries to escape through the passenger door. However, he survives, as he was able to duck before the harpoon shattered the windshield. His jacket gets caught on the seat, preventing him from getting up. The creeper then tries to fly through the bus, but Mr. Jack places another harpoon in the machine and shoots the creeper through the bus windows. This launches the beast into the fields. However, the creeper recovers and flies back into the sky, shedding its disguise. He flies with all his might, knocking down the bus and pulling the cable through the vehicle. Jack Sr. tries to free the rope, but discovers it is stuck. Jackie tells his dad to get out of the truck, which flips over the moment he does. Jackie then attends to her dad to see if he's okay. Rhonda, Izzy Cohen, and Double D find a truck and try to escape, but the creature chases them again. Izzy pushes Rhonda out of the truck and then causes the vehicle to crash, injuring both Double D and the creeper, who loses an arm, a leg, and a wing. Izzy manages to escape the rubble before the truck explodes. The creeper catches up to Double D, but Taggart appears, throws a harpoon at its head, and stabs it repeatedly in the chest. Meanwhile, before dying, the creature goes into a state of hibernation. 23 years later, a group of teenagers arrives at the Taggart farm, where the creeper has become a kind of tourist attraction called Hell's Creature, confined in a barn. They meet Jack, now elderly, with his harpoon, observing the monster's carcass. When the young people ask if Taggart is waiting for something, he looks at the creeper and says, "In about 3 days, give or take a day."